Tonight on our news, the sights and sounds from the people's love and unity rush. Plus, more than 200 Bahamians living and dead receiving the country's highest honors. And later, we'll tell you why this is not just a little storm. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kendino Knowles. Parliamentarians, former commissioners of police, pastors, and many others from civil society among more than 200 Bahamians receiving national honors. The honors from Governors General His Excellency Cornelius A. Smith, including those living and deceased, were published last evening. Atalia Hall joins us now in studio with more. Atalia?
Yes, Kendino, many names on that list of Bahamians receiving the country's highest honors. Among those receiving the Order of the Bahamas is Honorable Philip Bethel. He is a former parliamentarian and cabinet minister. Bethel was also a delegate to the 1972 Constitutional Conference in London. Gail Saunders, a former educator, author, and historian. She's known for supervising the establishment of the Pompey Museum and Balcony House Museum, among other things. George Myers is a successful businessman and has been credited with playing a major part in the development of Paradise Island into a premier tourist destination in the Bahamas. Rupert Roberts Jr. Roberts is also a businessman who has been dedicated to civic engagement for improvement of the Bahamas for many years. As the founder and co-chairman of the Coalition for Responsible Taxation, Roberts led the efforts to negotiate VAT taxes down. Another honoree, Reverend Dr. Michael Simonet. Simonet spent 51 years before retiring as bishop and general superintendent of the St. John Particular Church of Native Baptists. During his tenure, Simonet also ordained over 300 pastors, ministers, evangelists, and deacons. Judge Joseph Strawn. Judge Strawn is a distinguished former registrar of the Supreme Court and served with distinction as a justice. Now, in confirming the orders, His Excellency noting that these citizens, some of whom are being awarded posthumously, are being recognized for their outstanding service in various areas of national development. The Governor General also congratulating the group for their achievement. Now, for a full listing of this year's national honors, you can visit Our News Bahamas on Facebook. I'm Atalia Hall. Back to you, Kendino.
All right. Thanks a lot, Atalia. Well, after a 2-year hiatus, scores of residents making their way to Bay Street early Monday morning for the People's Love and Unity Rush. It's one of the most anticipated cultural events in the Independence calendar of events. The Junkanoo Development Association spearheading the parade, but our Jamila Missick tells us that it was more than just music, costumes, and fanfare, as numerous deserving Junkanooers were honored.
The greatest expression of Bahamian culture, bringing hundreds of spectators right here on Bay, all in celebration of the country's 49th year of independence. Sights and sounds marking the country's 49th year of independence as Junkanoo music filled the streets of downtown Nassau. Those in attendance showing their excitement for the return of the People's Love and Unity Rush. Resident Valerie Presenti and Terrell Taylor, a Bahamian who lives abroad, saying after the long 2-year wait, there's no greater feeling than being back on Bay.
It's good, and it's good to be unlocked at this time, the day of our independence, the day of our freedom, marking 49 years. But I'm great. I'm feeling great. It's an awesome opportunity to be out here tonight. I love my culture. Like I said, I'm a very, very proud Bahamian. I'm one of those persons who take the Bahamas to my heart.
This is a one in a million thing. Everywhere I'm well traveled, and there's nothing like it anywhere. You know, and we as Bahamian people have to really appreciate our culture because it's very unique. And this is something that I never want to see fade away.
And Bahamians weren't the only ones joining in on the fun. This Baltimore resident sharing her love for the Bahamas.
I've been coming to the Bahamas like 28 years, and I'm so glad I picked this weekend to come to celebrate with you guys for your Independence Day. I love everything. I love the people, the music, the flavor. Y'all so welcoming. Yes.
Ahead of the parade, the Junkanoo Development Association honoring a number of Junkanoo icons for their contributions to the art. The only woman in the group, Krista Dean of the Shell Saxon Superstars, says she is humbled.
After 30 years, I find it to be such an esteemed award, and I just want to thank everyone for recognizing everyone. So indeed, I'm humbled, I'm excited, I'm emotional, because of course we've lost so many members in all of the groups. But I'm so happy.
Residents could be seen dancing and chanting in support of their favorite groups, like the Shell Saxon Superstars and the Valley Boys, who made their return to Bay. And while there may have been a preference for many, it was clear that the one thing they all had in common was love for the greatest expression of Bahamian culture, Junkanoo. Reporting for our news, I'm Jamila Mizik.
All right, thanks a lot, Jamila. Well, 49th Independence Day celebrations also continuing on Grand Bahama as the island's shopping and entertainment mecca, Port Lucaya Marketplace, came alive last night. Our Megan Shepard has a recap of festivities that were held in grand cultural style.
The square in the Port Lucaya Marketplace buzzing with activity. Families enjoying the sweet, sweet sounds of Bahamian music. And then there was traditional rain play dances and performances by the Bahamas Dance Theater. For Minister of Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie, these celebrations are a true display of what it means to be Bahamian. She charged the residents to remain optimistic as everyone does their part on the journey to revitalizing Grand Bahama.
On this, our country's 49th birthday, let us decide we will link arms and work together to make Grand Bahama grand again. As we continue to press forward, upward, onward together, I encourage all of you to remember that we are indeed our sisters and brothers keepers. I remind all of us that collaboration is key as we recover, rebuild, and revolutionize Grand Bahama.
Attendees even got a chance to participate in a fun limbo competition. On hand for the occasion, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper, who says happy days are on the way for that island.
I want you to know for Grand Bahama, we think it's almost here again. And when we look around here, we can see that many of the stores that used to be here are still closed. But I am optimistic about the future for Grand Bahama. Never before have I been more optimistic about the economy and the future of Grand Bahama than I am right now.
The night culminated with a show of fireworks. Reporting for our news, I'm Megan Shepard.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. Well, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Thanks and welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this holiday Monday. A very warm evening outside if you have plans on the outdoors. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Feels like a very warm 93 degrees on the outside. Few clouds. Your winds are kind of breezy, south-southeasterly at 12 miles per hour. On our satellite, that ridge of high pressure in firm control of our weather, actually just extending across the Bahamas and into South Florida. A couple isolated showers mainly across the northwest Bahamas. Most of those are dissipating as we speak, but a dry air mass is invading. We do have some Saharan dust to the south of us. We should see some of that filtering into our area, but all in all, it should be a very quiet night tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
All right, still to come on our news, the address from the nation's leader on Independence Day, plus the drug bust on a Lutheran now under active investigation. And find out why this is not just a little stall. It's all coming up when our news returns. The nation's leader, Prime Minister Philip Davis, addressing the nation this independence, in his note giving this bit of advice to Bahamians.
On this, our 49th anniversary, let us celebrate those things that keep us together and unite us, and let us celebrate those things that build up the common good. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
And opposition leader and leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, also sharing an independence message, saying he believes the country has come a long way.
Increasingly Our people have secured greater ownership of our economy and made our mark in the international arena as pace setters in the creative arts, in athletics, religion, commerce, tourism, and financial services. And we've been good environmental stewards. Despite these achievements, we are keenly aware that we have some serious challenges that we face, but we will overcome by God's grace and our collective efforts.
And Pintard adding that Bahamians have much to be proud of.
In our short 49 years of independence, the world has marked the manner of our bearing. In so many ways, we have become the model of a small island nation whose impact globally is well beyond our nation's size. We are known throughout the world for our stable government, peaceful political process, and transfer of power. We are a people who recognize the value of pursuit of good governance and the rule of law.
A major drug bust over on Eleuthera is under active investigation tonight. Police telling our news that over 165 pounds of suspected marijuana was confiscated by police around 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon following a search of a property in Eleuthera Shores. We are told the drugs have an estimated street value of $165,000. No arrests were made in connection with the incident. And a high-speed chase resulting in the arrest of 2 suspects and confiscation of a firearm and ammunition here in New Providence. Police telling our news 2 men ages 29 and 21 were arrested and 1 other on the loose after a shooting that is, at police in an attempted stop. Officers say it was just before 1 o'clock this afternoon in the area of East Street and Ross Corner when they observed 3 males in a dark gray Nissan Note acting suspiciously. That's when officers attempted to stop the vehicle, but police say the driver sped off. While in pursuit, police say the suspects opened fire. The suspects, according to police, abandoned the vehicle while in the area of Collins Wall, but police say they were caught shortly after. A full read of this story is available now at Our News Bahamas on Facebook. When Our News comes back from the break, we'll tell you why this is not just a little stall. Plus in sports, the Bahamas wins gold in the Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships. And later, the movie day for dozens of youngsters made possible by the Singing Bishop. We have the details when Our News returns. This is Our News. Welcome back. As we move forward, upward, onward together as a nation, a small business owner wanting members of the public to be more aware of the investment it takes to even open what some may call a little stall on Arawak. Jared Haig spoke to the owner of Lioness Sushi on the go about the blood, sweat, and tears required even when the business is still in its budding stages.
It's not a little stall.
You know, it takes a lot of sacrifice and not just financial.
That was the message of Lioness Sushi on the go owner, Chef Evita Carey Smith, in a viral Facebook post where she spoke about the realities and challenges of being a small business owner in the Bahamas. She says that little stall costs big money.
Every big business started out as a small business. And I think a lot of persons, they tend to discredit and, you know, they don't give small businesses the credit that they deserve.
Smith Carey started Lioness Sushi on the go as a sushi delivery business in 2017 while she was unemployed. Eventually, she expanded to a food truck on Arawak. The chef tells us the total investment for the food truck was $13,000. Building a stall cost more than $34,000, which Carey Smith paid with cash as she couldn't qualify for a loan. That's part of the reason that she takes issue with people when they downplay her efforts.
I just want people to be able to, respect that. It's nothing little about that. That's a big deal that you are able to provide employment not only for yourself, but for others. And you're also contributing something massive to the tourism product out here. After the pandemic, when we were able to reopen, we had a more diverse clientele. It just wasn't the same old customers. We got a lot of new customers.
Carey Smith is a married mother of 1. Lioness Sushi made history by being the first sushi food truck in Nassau, then by being the first restaurant to offer sushi on Arawak. She has 2 employees, both UB graduates, with associate's degrees in culinary arts. Besides inflation bringing about price increases, one of the biggest challenges is the lack of running water and electricity on Arawak Key. While grateful for what successive governments have tried to do on the fish fry, the budding entrepreneur thinks there are enough long-serving businesses that would benefit.
You know, we have so many vendors out here in the food and beverage industry. I think it would be fair for everybody to be able to have access to, especially with gas prices on the verge of being $7, $8 a gallon, you know, to use a generator from morning to night. That's one of the biggest challenges that we have out here.
Carrie Smith, who is 28 years old, wants to continue growing her business to a point where it doesn't require her presence to operate. As it stands, she puts in about 60 hours a week. In the future, she hopes to open more locations, including on the Family Islands and even outside the Bahamas.
I have big dreams and high hopes for my business and my brand. I know that once I continue to put God first, it's nothing that I won't be able to accomplish. So I think the sky is the limit for Lioness Sushi.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks a lot, Jared, and we certainly wish her all the best. And for more stories like this and all of today's top stories, be sure and visit Our News Bahamas on Facebook. And in sports tonight, the Bahamas hosting the inaugural Babe Ruth Caribbean Championships and putting on quite a showing, winning gold and bronze in the 12 and under category. The 5-day tournament beginning Thursday and ended today. 2 Bahamian under-12 teams took on teams from Aruba, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. As the dust settles, the Bahamas leaves with lots of hardware as the host team wins 3-0 over Cuba for the gold medal, while the tournament team defeats Aruba 6-0 to secure the bronze medal. Our Marcellus Hall, who has been hosting the televised games right here on RTV, will have a full report in Our News Sports tomorrow. And still to come on Our News, Independence Day fun for dozens of youngsters treated to a movie at Superplex Fusion. Find out the day of fun made possible by the Singing Bishop. Plus, Greg is back with your extended weather forecast. It's all coming up when Our News returns. This is Our News. Welcome back. Singing Bishop Lawrence role continuing to impact the inner city community, treating some 200 young people to a movie day at Fusion Superplex today. Attendees were able to enjoy a movie and snacks free of charge, thanks to the generosity of donors.
So to the Honorable Prime Minister, I appreciate him. To Jojo Restaurant, Fish Fry and his friends, Ezra, Tanya, Penn, and of course FTX, BPL. They make it happen. I really appreciate them.
Singing Bishop Roll, who has been doing charitable work for more than 30 years, says he enjoys impacting so many lives and looks forward to continuing his outreach with the help of the wider community.
Really bless the Lord for all the partners, those that support. Amen. So much things are happening this holiday as we speak in the inner city. But these children, one father said to me, the children even didn't sleep last night. They were so excited.
And with that, it's time now for your extended weather forecast. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back in the Weather Center with a look at conditions for the week ahead. Greg?
Thanks again and welcome back everybody for our second look at weather. That ridge of high pressure remaining in control of our weather, dry air mass associated with that extending across the area. Upper level low is in the southwest Caribbean Sea, and that is actually pumping a little bit of moisture across the northwest Bahamas, so we're seeing a couple isolated showers and some thunderstorms across there. That upper level low will continue to sag out of our area. We are watching an area in the Gulf of Mexico, the National Hurricane Center, giving that a low potential for some formation. If it stays over water, it's going to be under just along the Florida, the southeastern United States and into the Gulf Coast states, and continue to move slowly towards the west. And by the end of the week, it's possible that it could form into something, but if it stays very near shore, it's unlikely. Rest of the tropics remaining quiet, a lot of dry mass out there, and this is how things are looking for that system. As I mentioned, very low chance. It's going to hang around the Gulf states over the next couple of days, not showing any real signs for formation. And the tropics, strong upper level shear and that's Saharan dust is going to be moving in our direction, so that's going to inhibit any tropical cyclone formation over the Gulf and across the Atlantic over the next several days. Boating forecast for the Northwest Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the southeast to south at 10 to 15 knot seas, running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will be at 6:37 tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag in place for you guys down there. East to south easterly wind flow at 15 to 20 knots. Your wave heights running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your 7-day forecast, occasional afternoon showers and thunderstorms will be in the forecast, but that high pressure will remain in charge, and as I mentioned, some Saharan dust should get in here, so it's going to be a little hazy by the end of the week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe holiday, everybody.
All right, thank you, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news on this Independence Monday. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kendino Knowles. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of what's left of your holiday.